excited about this metabolic health program that I put together. It's actually taken me over 2.5 years to put this thing together. And I want to talk about it because it's so powerful. I started noticing with people that, they would get stuck along their weight loss journey, right? And I never really wanted to be like a weight loss specialist because there's a lot of doctors that do that and they do really well. But I was just like, that's not exciting for me. However, patients do lose a lot of weight with me because we're always working on the metabolism. So I said, I'm going to start building a metabolic program. So it started off with, I'm from California, so I love the world of aesthetics. Like I love, looking good, feeling good, the whole thing, right? And so I invested in this aesthetics device, the Contura by InMode. And people just didn't get it coming into my practice. They were like, huh? Because what it does is it shrinks fat cells, it tightens and tones, it builds collagen, and people really didn't understand why a holistic doctor would bring something. It's not invasive and there's no downtime or whatever, but it's typically what you would see in like a plastic surgeon's office or a med spa or something like that. They didn't really get the holistic component to it. So then that got me thinking, because I was like, of course I invested in this piece of equipment that I absolutely love. It uses radio frequency. It's like mind-blowing what it can do. And I tested all kinds of things and settled on this really innovative company. And so I was like, well, how can I make this into a holistic platform, right? So then I invested in an InBody, which measures body composition. So I can actually measure body fat, I can measure visceral fat, I can measure lean muscle mass, right? And so with that information, I get the metabolic rate, and then I could start having patients to, look at their nutrition, right? And I could start to customize their macros, their proteins, their fats, their carbohydrates, and really help educate them about nutrition. But then, people are not always the most accountable. So then I had to bring in an app for them to be able to track their food, so I could look at what they were doing and hold them accountable to making sure they were doing it. So if they're eating too much fat or not enough protein, I could then be able to monitor it and catch them and all the kinds of things, right? So and then, there was obviously, I would look at everybody's labs to see if there's any biochemical components, if there's any thyroid imbalances, or, they weren't digesting well or assimilating their nutrients, and then we added that component to it. And then the other piece of it as well is, the self-sabotage. So some people, they self-identify as an overweight person because they've always been overweight for their entire life, or, they're stuck in the trappings of, emotional eating, or they just simply don't understand. They get bored with food, or they make food mean something totally different. So then we brought in a biofeedback device to be able to help clear any sabotage coming up. And then we also invested in brain entrainment, because I would tell people, the benefits of protein or the benefits of, drinking water, and they wouldn't believe me. So I got this brain entrainment device, which actually helps retrain the conscious mind. So we got something for the subconscious, we got something for the conscious. And then I'm like, okay, great. Now we're ready to launch this big program, right? And then COVID happens, right? And so then, of course, nobody really wants to come in. We do more telehealth stuff. People are really, really concerned about spending money, excess money, etc. So, kind of time went on. And then, of course, because I invested in a very innovative company, by the time I was ready to relaunch, that technology that I got was actually old. So then I had to invest in another device. This one's hands-free. It's the Evolve. I absolutely love it, because now what it does is it not only does the fat reduction, it also does the collagen rebuilding. And these are all FDA cleared devices, but it also does the muscle toning too, which is really cool. So it gets those really stubborn areas. So then even bodybuilders or people that, nutrition and fitness are all a part of their whole lives, but they still have genetics, and so as we all do. And so there's still these little stubborn areas. I can really target those specific areas so that they can have the body of their dreams, right? I love body reshaping. I love body remodeling. And so it's really cool to be able to see it from a holistic perspective, because it's not just about sticking the aesthetics device in the practice and calling it a day, but now it's like we have this whole program that's wrapped around it. So now for 8 to 12 weeks, and we've been able to see so many successes with people. I just saw a patient just the other day. I treated her for years and finally kind of worked with her through this process. And she's like, I haven't been this weight since, she couldn't even remember when. And she was really, really excited to be able to feel great. And here's the other kicker. She's like 80 years old. So, when people tell me, oh, age, I'm like, no, age is not a prerequisite for poor health. It has nothing to do with it. It's all the state of mind. It's the actions that you do. It's your lifestyles, your behaviors, your motivation. All those things add up to having a healthy, vibrant life. And so I'm really excited to finally be able to launch this metabolic health program. It's been on its own holistic journey in and of itself. So I wanted to share that with you guys today.